And Gabe, if you ever open up a company and you need UPS shipping, I'm your man. I can get you.
I got you. Sounds good.
You open up a business, let me know. I'm in charge of Western Canada. I got you, bro.
That's dope, man. I got you. Okay, I appreciate it.
No worries. Okay, so you guys ready for me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the MMA Brothers. It's Daryl.
It's Asher.
And we got a special guest, Gabe. You're back on the podcast. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys?
Very good, thank you. Asher, how about yourself?
I'm surviving, Another day, another dollar, brother.
And we're talking UFC Fight Night, Kelvin Gastelum versus Robert Whittaker. Guys, this is going to be a good one. Hopefully the main event this week is not a doozy and a wrestling fest like the last one. But we're going to start off at the bottom of the main card as we usually do and then work our way up. So we're going to start off with Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algio. And for some reason, it's not letting me click on the fight. Well, gentlemen, you'd like to do a breakdown?
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Bill Algio, if you don't mind putting the mic closer to your mouth, Daryl. Bill Algio, he I think he's somebody that didn't he fight recently? I think he's a 155er. I'm trying to remember. I think he fought Ricardo Lamas, right? Or 145er, yes. Sorry. Yeah,
yes.
He fought.
I don't know why I'm remembering that, but yes.
Yeah, he fought Ricardo Lamas, and I remember he had like a really good chin on him, and he's got a really good fighting style. So I believe this fight's going to be at 145. And then Ricardo Ramos, I have heard the name. I can't really remember too much about his fights, but maybe Gabe can dive deeper into this. Say that again, Gabe. Say that one more time, Gabe.
I just looked online. This fight's actually canceled.
Oh, it's canceled. Oh,
no wonder it's canceled. Yeah, Ricardo Ramos off UFC ESPN 22 due to COVID.
Yeah, we can move on though.
Both of these guys were on. They were. What's that? Sorry. Oh, sorry. It's really choppy. Okay, I think it's back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little choppy, but we'll move on to the next fight. So we got Luis Pena versus Alexander Munoz. So Luis Pena is one of those guys that has like a good story. He's somebody. Was he? I may mess this up. Wasn't he adopted or something? Do you know, Daryl?
Yeah. He was adopted. Then he met his birth parents through the UFC. Like they found, I don't know how they reconnected, but through the UFC, he was able to find his birth family. That I know for sure.
Yeah, he has a crazy story, which is super interesting and inspiring. And I remember the UFC tried to promote him and stuff, but he's a 155er. I thought he was a 145er, but he's a 155er from Italy. And then Alexander Munoz is the American. Munoz is a very, very, very tall lightweight, coming in 155 pounds. And he also has a 3-inch reach advantage. So Munoz has an MMA record of 6-1, and Pena has an MMA record of 8-3. If you don't mind scrolling down, let me see how these fighters win. So Pena, he kind of tends to have a more what you call it, a more like Taekwondo style. I'm not sure what his basic martial art is, but I do believe it's Taekwondo. And here, Alexander Munoz can win mostly by KO, a couple submissions on his record, but he has a 50% win percentage in terms of decision. So this fight, I don't know too much about Alexander Munoz, but I know Luis Pena, and I like his fighting style, so I'm going to be going with him. Gabe, you want to chime in on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Munoz on this fight. As I was saying before for the fight that's canceled, both of those guys and Munoz were on Dana White's series, looking for a fight where he goes with Matt Serra and they go to the different promotions. And Munoz, he fought Lamson. I'm pretty sure he's in the UFC now. Something Lamson, and it was a great fight. He lost his last one to he's a Middle Eastern guy, Narpast Harkpast. I forget how to say his name. He was
the Afghanistani guy, Nasrat, the guy that looks like Kelvin Gastelum.
Yes, that's the guy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he lost to him last. But yeah, no, I liked Munoz. He's 6-1, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, he looked good in the fight that I saw on the looking for a fight series. So I'm gonna go with Munoz.
Nice.
Okay.
How about you, Daryl?
I'm gonna go with Pena. I liked what I've seen from Pena. He's a very good gas tank. He's very long, lanky, and rangy. It's very hard to take him down, and he's really good off his back. So, and I think that Alexander is gonna have to get inside the range and the height, right? That's a very big thing to overcome. But we've seen fighters do it before, and they're pretty similar in how they get it done, just switching to submissions for the decision. So even if you rush in on Pena, he's very good with his submission. So you got to be very careful if you're Munoz, because you got to get into the space where you can land damage. But when you come into that range, even before you enter, Luis can still hit you, right? If you're Munoz. So you're going to have to go in, take a risk to take him down, but he's very, very good with submissions. So I'm going to go with Luis Pena on this one. We're going to move on to Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Jacob Mamba Malcoon. So if you guys remember Abdul, he got one bombed by Chaos Williams, right? Like the right hand down the pipe, right at the beginning of the fight. The Ghanaian, he's 10-3, 5'10", middleweight. He's a big boy. The reach is the same with the Australian Jacob Malcoon. Oh, I thought he was way bigger at 5'9". I don't know why Malcoon looks bigger, but he's 5'9". From Australia, he's 4-1, relatively new as a pro. How did these fighters get it done? Oh, Jesus Christ. When you face Abdul, if he's winning, you're going to sleep, basically is what it's saying. So this one, there's relatively no experience from Jacob Malcoon's side. Abdul's coming off a loss where you got TKO'd. No, he got KO'd. Actually, it wasn't TKO. He got KO'd by Chaos Williams. So you can expect him coming out to make a statement. And if you're Malcoon, it's just relatively no experience, right? That's 5 pro fights. Abdul's been knocked out. He knows what it feels like. I don't know if Jacob's been, but I'm gonna go with Abdul by first round TKO or KO. How about you, Jake? How about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Abdul too. He's a dangerous striker. He's lost quite a few, but he's also won quite a few too. If you look at his past record, a little bit inconsistent, but he's got that KO power, and he's able to finish guys. I think it's going to come down to experience. Jacob's only 4-1 in MMA, like professional MMA total, which is always kind of dangerous when you're going up against, a guy with 100% KO percentage. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, Jacob Malcoon is that guy that got KO'd in 18 seconds against Phil Haas. So
that's exactly. I was like, I remember seeing this.
I remember his name too, and I'm like, why do this guy's name ring a bell? 18 seconds it took Phil Haas to dust this guy.
And then he's going to go from Phil to Abdul. God damn. This is
the UFC is not doing this guy any favors, bro. They're trying to cut him as soon as he got into the company. But then again, Malcoon was 4-0 before he faced Phil Haas. So I guess,
both fighters are coming off knockout losses. So, it's fair game. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Both of them are coming off of L's, but Al Hassan was a guy that was like known for his KO power before that Chaos Williams fight. But then again, Chaos Williams also the guy that was known for his knockout power. So pretty much I think someone's going to be going to sleep, right? So in this fight, I do think Al Hassan will knock out Malcoon again, because Al Hassan is a more aggressive fighter between the two. So
he fights a lot like that Joaquin Buckley Abdul does. He fights a lot like Buckley.
Yeah,
he just doesn't care to move forward. That's how I end up getting put to sleep. But
the fight game is tough. I was just gonna say everybody forgot about what's his name, Buckley, bro. I was like, yo, you got KO'd once. Everybody's off the Buckley train.
But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, we're gonna go Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky versus Chase the Vanilla Gorilla. Sure, let's go. Yo, so Andre Arlovsky is from Belarus at 6'3", weighs in at 240. This heavyweight division. Yeah, he's got Chase Sherman has a 1-inch reach advantage over Arlovsky. Chase comes in at 250. He's 6'4". He's from the United States. The advantage in terms of experience definitely on Arlovsky's side. He's had 50 fights, 30 wins, 20 losses, 2 no contests. He's a very, very, very good wily veteran. His chin has been holding up recently, which has been good. And then Chase Sherman is 15-6. So we'd love to see how these fighters get it done. Chase Sherman, 93% going to sleep. All right. He puts you to sleep 93% of the time when he wins. Arlovsky at 57, very respectable considering he has 30 wins. So it's a very respectable number. How do I think this is gonna go? If this was Arlovsky 2 years ago, I'd be like, oh, he's going to sleep first round. But like for some reason, since he grew out that beard super thick, I don't know if it's adding an extra chin layer of protection, but it's absolutely insane. I'm still gonna go with Chase Sherman. You got, especially in the heavyweight division, you got to go with the young and upcoming guy versus the wily old veteran, because at any point, either guy could go to sleep. But I trust that the old guy goes to sleep more than the younger one. So I'm gonna go with Chase Sherman. Second round, TK. I'll give Arlovsky some respect. He's gonna last the first round, eat some shots, and then second round he's gonna go to sleep. How about you, Gabe?
A day or two ago, I was going to go with Sherman. I have Andre in this one, man. He lost to Tom Aspinall in the last fight. Aspinall, outworked him, got the win. But before that, Arlovsky beat Sakai, right? There's two pretty big names. Oh, Tanner Bozer he beat before that, the Canadian. And then there was another guy that he beat. And they were two really good wins in a row. And they lost to Aspinall, right? Sherman, looking at both their records, they're a little inconsistent. But I'm going to side with experience on this one. I don't think Arlovsky's done yet. Did lose the last one, but I'm going to go with Andre. I think we're going to be surprised.
No, I actually think you're right. It would be a solid underdog bet to bet on Arlovsky. The KO percentage is kind of crazy in Sherman's.
Yo, boys, come on, man.
No.
But like Tom, pro fights, bro. Come on.
But Tom Aspinall is that guy who's like the future of the heavyweight division. Yeah. So that was a really, really tough going for them to give Arlovsky. Arlovsky is 42. Arlovsky does not have the greatest chin, but I was surprised by how well he was holding up against Tom Aspinall. Yeah. And Tom Aspinall actually had to take you to the ground because I think he said like he couldn't see out of one of his eyes, or like he had blurred vision or something. So where he's like, oh, I don't know, it's like stand with Arlovsky anymore. He took it to the ground and was able to submit him quickly. So Chase Sherman, again, he does have that KO power. Something like Daryl said, like he's been able to rejuvenate his chin somehow. Arlovsky has been able to do that. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess underdog bet, I think it's kind of a solid bet to bet on Arlovsky. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it done. So, yeah, I'm going to be picking him.
Yeah, you niggas crazy, bro. I can't believe you're betting on Andre the Pitbull right now, but that's crazy. But we'll move on. Little Heathen. Jeremy Stephens versus Drakkar Klose. Both fighters are from the United States. This is in the featherweight division, right? The 45 featherweight, right?
Lightweight.
No, he's moving up to lightweight. Jeremy Stephens is.
Oh, he's moving up to lightweight. Oh, yeah.
He's lightweight for a bit now.
Oh, okay.
He's been there for a little bit, yeah.
But 45 is feather, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I just got confused by the weight class here. Jeremy Stephens is a 1-inch advantage. Jeremy is 28-18, 1 no contest. Drakkar is very, very light in his experience compared to Jeremy with 11 wins, 2 losses, 1 no contest or draw. And I think that's a draw. How did the fighters get it done? It's 68% TKO KO rate by Jeremy Little Heathen. When he puts people to sleep, he really separates them from consciousness. Every single time I see TKO win by Jeremy Stephens, I'm like, God damn. And then Drakkar Klose, he had the really good fight. I think it was with Beneil Dariush, where you heard Dariush was trying to close the show, got overzealous, got clipped, and then his mouthpiece got knocked out against the fence, right?
Yeah.
Against Dariush. Yeah. What we did learn is Klose has really, really good striking. For someone to hit Beneil with those type of shots, hurt him, rock him against the fence, he learned from his mistakes, I think. But Little Heathen hits like a truck, so you definitely can't get touched up like he was against Beneil. But Jeremy's coming off that horrible knockout loss to Calvin Cater, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I want to go with Jeremy Stephens, but I'm going to go with Drakkar Klose. I don't know why. I don't know if it's I think that Jeremy's near the end of his leash. I don't think he's really going to make noise at 55 with the killers that are at the top of the pile. But I'm going to go with Drakkar Klose. How about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Drakkar too. He's beaten. I was just looking at it earlier. He beat Mark Giacassis earlier on when he came into the UFC. It was a good win. Even the loss against Beneil Dariush, like you were saying, like he was looking good at times. And Beneil Dariush is no slump. I mean, he's fighting Tony Ferguson next month, right? So, yeah. And Jeremy Stephens, I mean, he's lost a lot of his there was obviously the big finish against Josh Emmett. Everyone remembers him, that big finish, right? That was awesome. It was deadly. And he's lost quite a bit. But if you look at who he's lost to, Matt, like he lost to Calvin Cater, Yair Rodriguez, like all these top contenders at 145, right? And now with him moving up to 155, he gets to retain a bit of weight. So who knows? But I think Drakkar is going to win. I think Jeremy, if he loses this one, I wouldn't say he's done, but he's lost. I think he's only won like 2 out of his last like 6, something like that. I want to say. So let's have to see what happens with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeremy Stephens is definitely an exciting fighter. I actually enjoy watching him fight because every time he fights, I know this is going to be a sick fight. Yeah. He did lose to Yair Rodriguez, and he also did lose to what's his name, Calvin Cater recently. Yeah. So I feel like it's been a while since he's been able to get a win. Yeah, Drakkar, like you guys said, he's no joke. In the UFC, I think he's 5-2, so he's only had 2 losses, one against Dariush and another against a guy named David Tamer. And if you look at the way to get it done, this guy has no submission wins on his record. He just has a 36 KO percentage compared to a 68 KO percentage by Jeremy Stephens. So obviously Jeremy Stephens is going to be looking for the KO, but this is at 155. Maybe he will carry more of a punch at 155 than he did at 145, but I don't think so. Closer is a guy that was in the fire with a guy like Beneil Dariush, who has insane power. I don't know how Dariush knocks guys out, because if you see him, he's one of like the most unintimidating lightweights you ever see. The guy looks like he can't
wants
bench.
To smoke though.
The guy looks like he can't bench the bar. You know what I mean?
He reminds me of Esteban from like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Esteban. Julio Gonzalez. Yeah. But yeah, no, like he looks like he has no power. He looks like he can't fight, whatever. But this guy's a killer, man. He's like a 7-fight win streak, whatever he's on right now. Beneil Dariush, and he's gonna knock out Ferguson too. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, in this fight, I want to pick Closer. I just think that he's the bigger fighter. I think Jeremy Stephens won't pack as heavy of a punch at 155. He will also hit hard, but I just think that somebody that Closer has definitely faced somebody that hits like Jeremy Stephens, and he able to take it. And he's going to get the dub, so I'm picking Closer. We'll move on to the main event of the evening. I'll break it down for you guys. So we got Robert the Reaper Whittaker versus Kevin No Nickname Gastelum. Robert Whittaker 23-5. Kelvin Gastelum 17-6. The Australian versus the American. Robert Whittaker will be 3 inches taller. Robert Whittaker also have a 2-inch reach advantage. So how do these fighters get it done? Scroll down for me, Daryl, please. I'm pretty sure Kelvin Gastelum will have the higher KO. Oh no, Robert Whittaker has a high KO percentage. Damn. Robert Whittaker has only 1 L in the middleweight division, and it's against the current king Israel Adesanya. Robert Whittaker does have a couple submissions on his record, but he wins 35% of his fights by decision. So very similar to Kelvin Gastelum, the stats. This fight, I think Kelvin Gastelum is coming off of a win against what's his name? Who did he fight in his last fight? Who?
Jack Hermanson. Knee bird.
Ian Heilish. Ian Heilish. Yeah, because at that point, I think Kelvin Gastelum had lost 3 in a row. He lost Adesanya, Darren Till, and then Hermanson, right? Yeah. And so he was talking about like, oh, I'm fighting for my contract, or I'm fighting for my career in the UFC. He put a lot of pressure on himself in that last fight against Ian Heinisch, and he won it decisively. Not the most amazing fight, but Kelvin did win it clearly. Robert Whittaker, since his KO loss to Adesanya, he's beaten Darren Till and he beat Jared Cannonier, who are the best of the best, right? So this fight against Kelvin Gastelum, a lot of people say Robert Whittaker deserved it before even having to take this fight. He was originally supposed to fight Paulo Costa, which I was so hyped for that fight. I don't know what Costa's saying. This guy, I don't know, man. It's a different story. But anyways, Robert Whittaker, I think he's gonna win this fight. I just think that he's just too smooth, man. I know Kelvin Gastelum has that KO power in his left hand. Again, he's one of those guys, he's like the 185 Dariush. You would never think this guy could smoke people, but he just smokes them somehow. I don't know how it happens.
Man, he's got that short, stocky stature, man. Those dudes are the ones that possess fight-ending power, bro. Within either the left or right mitt. But yeah.
Yeah, so this one, Kelvin Gastelum has sweet boxing, but I just know that this is a 5-round fight. Actually, it's not a 3-round. So I don't know, man. I want to pick Robert Whittaker because he's the Reaper. Nobody's been able to solve him except Israel Adesanya, and like the stature compared. I think Kelvin Gastelum might be the smallest guy that Robert Whittaker has fought so far in the UFC. If I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's fought a guy this small.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I know Robert Whittaker used to fight at 170 for like the beginning of his career, and then he moved up to 185. But at least recently speaking, he's fought the likes of Cannonier, who used to be a heavyweight. He's fought Israel Adesanya, who's 6'4". He's fought Yoel Romero, who barely made 185. Like, you know what I mean? All these guys, Derek Brunson, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way like Robert Whittaker, like the toughest opponent he would have fought is Kelvin Gastelum. But then again, that
the
boxing
same thing
is
about
nice.
Izzy. You say the same thing about Izzy. Like Kelvin is just a really awkward puzzle to solve. But sorry for cutting you off.
No, so in this fight, I do think the Reaper will get it done, probably by decision. That jab is just nasty, and that 1-2 high kick combo is just—it's like one of the nicest combos in the UFC, man. Like, and it works every single time. There's every fighter he's fought except Adesanya has got hit by that jab, right cross, high kick combo. It just like it's smooth as butter for Robert. It works every single time. He pulls it out the pocket. Probably gonna hit Gastelum with it. Gastelum get rocked, but Gastelum's got a chin from not even hell. I don't even know where it's from some different planet where you can't knock.
I swear he's Mexican, right? I swear he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mexican chin.
American, yeah.
It's granite. It's granite.
So I'm picking Whittaker by decision. How about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I got robbed by decision too. We've seen, like that Izzy fight, even though Kelvin lost, I mean, that was probably Izzy's toughest opponent. Like look at the damage he put on Izzy's face. You look at all of Izzy's other opponents, no damage. And then Kelvin came in there and he gave him, swollen eyes, right? So I think Kelvin's going to pull him into some deep water. People have been harping on Kelvin lately, but it's like, look at who he's fought. He faced Till, Hermanson, and Izzy. It's like, he's not fighting bums. But I still think Robert's going to get it done. Like you said, he's the Reaper. He's the man. Yeah.
One thing I will say about those fights that Gastelum lost too, they were actually pretty close. If you think about, the Adesanya one was close, even though at the fifth round is a different story. The Darren Till one was close. I think it was a split decision or something, right? So. And then the Hermanson one was just unfortunate. He got caught in a knee bar, but he started that fight off well. So
yeah.
Anyways, Daryl, you want to? Sorry, you picking Whittaker. Daryl, who are you picking? Because I know you got to go to a meeting soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with KG, man. I don't know, man. People love sucking off the Reaper. Like the Reaper gets caught from time to time. But this is what I'm gonna say. Kelvin is a very hard puzzle to solve on the feet. As you can see with Darren, he barely engaged with him. He's just like from out far, he's just trying to jab up Kelvin. And you know what I'm trying to say? Like that fight, Darren knew, if I get caught the left hand, I'm going to sleep. As do most people. You know that with Kelvin, right? And you can't really say the same about Rob. Rob doesn't really knock you out with one punch or one kick. It's usually an accumulation of strikes with the Reaper. You know what I mean? And I think that, and the way he blitzes in, so does Kelvin. So to me, who's the better striker? I would definitely give the edge to the Reaper, but who lands with more damage and could end the fight with one punch? I think it's Kelvin, and Rob gets caught a lot. We might not want to admit it. Jared Cannonier caught him and hurt him. So did Yoel. So did Izzy. So did everyone. Okay, Yoel's an exception, but none of those other guys hit as hard as Kelvin Gastelum. You know what I'm trying to say?
I think Yoel hits pretty hard.
That's it. With the exception of Yoel is what I said.
Okay, gotcha. I missed
that. He's another level. Like, look at him in Bellator now, man. He's fucking fighting at light heavyweight. Sorry. Which is where you probably should fight at. And that Grand Prix is going to be nuts. I'm watching it this Friday. So,
yeah. Wait, is that the Rumble Romero fight this Friday?
No. The Corey Anderson's this Friday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Corey's, like watching paint dry. If you tell me that guy's fighting, don't really get excited.
Daryl's got Gastelum. We both got Whittaker. Let's quickly talk about the Ben Askren versus Jake Paul fight. That fight. I honestly want to say that Ben Askren is going to beat the living daylights out of Jake Paul. There's just no way Jake Paul is knocking out Ben Askren. I don't care. I don't care how well he's looked in training. I don't care who's training with his Masvidal or whoever. We make fun of Ben Askren's stand-up. I know it's not the prettiest. Even he will admit it himself. But like there's levels to this. Like Jake Paul has not fought a professional fighter ever in his life before, right? So this is the first time he's going to fight somebody who's an actual professional, who actually knows what they're doing in there, who's actually taking damage in the fights, who's actually fought like championship killers in MMA. There's no way that like Ben Askren is going to fold under some 24-year-old kid, or whatever how old he is, 23, about some kid that has a dream that thinks he's going to be the next guy. Like in the beginning, yes, Jake Paul may be able to land like the nicer strikes on Ben Askren, but when it comes to round 3, 4, 5, oh, Ben Askren's going to be throwing those terrible hooks and then just landing on Jake Paul. I would be like, oh, damn! And then within the 3rd or 4th round, I can see the tide turning, and then 6th, 7th, I think it's an 8-round fight. Ben Askren is going to be able to put it on him, and the referee will probably stop it by the 7th round, is my guess. So I'm picking funky Ben Askren to get her done. How about you, Daryl?
Yeah, I gotta go. I got 1 minute. I'll make this quick. Benny, Funky Ben, he's my guy. Jake Paul, I'm not gonna disrespect him like you did. He actually does have power. It's at a higher weight class. And yes, I'm not gonna say puncher's chance, whatever, but Ben does have really trash stand-up. So when he's going in for a clinch, if Jake evades and catches him with an uppercut, very could be, I don't know. The smart bet is on Ben. If you're a betting man, bet on Ben Askren. Because all he's going to do is clinch up Jake and dirty box with him the whole time. The referee's going to stop. He's going to keep doing that. The referee's going to stop. He's going to keep doing that. And he's just going to keep on landing strikes in the clinch where you can't not give him the victory. Do you get what I'm saying? I just think that's how it's going to go. But Gabe, what do you think? I do have to drop off now, but it's been a pleasure having you on. As usual. We'll see you on the post-fight. I just got to drop off.
No worries. Have a good one.
Take it easy, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got Ben too, man. I've been saying this since the fight got announced. A real fighter versus a YouTuber. It shouldn't even be a question, right? Like, yes, Ben isn't, doesn't have the greatest stand-up. But I mean, if you look at his old fights, like in Bellator and 1, his stand-up, I mean, it's still not great, but it's not as bad as people think. Like, he has a lot of power. Like, when you see him dropping bombs on guys, especially like in his ground and pound, I mean, it's not the same as boxing, but like, he has power. And if Jake comes into this fight going like, oh, like he's just going to be throwing like shitty punches, like he's got a whole other thing coming. Like I posted that video on my story the other day, or just yesterday. Ben's striking looked pretty good. He's taken 11 weeks to prepare for this. His hips, pretty much healed now. He's looking better. He's an athlete. He's fought guys like Robbie Lawler, like some of the baddest dudes in like fighting history, right? Jake's fought 3 YouTubers and a basketball
Yeah.
player, right? And a guy who looks like he's like never fought in his life. So yeah, when people keep talking, it's like, yeah, and I'll give Jake, like, he does have skill. I'm not saying he can't box. He's got decent skill. Like, he's a pretty good, he's got some good technique. But like, it's an 8-round fight?
I think it's 8 rounds, yeah.
8 rounds? You go into an 8-round fight with a real fighter. I don't care if they're a stand-up oriented, ground oriented. They're a fighter, and they've been in situations where they've faced adversity. They've been pieced up, but still kept fighting. Right? I don't like Jake. I think he had a bloody nose in his first amateur fight. I think that's all he really had, was like a little bloody nose. Now you're going to go into a ring with Ben Askren. If he takes you 8 rounds, like, he's just going to wear you out. Like, he has that cardio. I'm really excited. I want to ask you this, okay? Who do you think has more to lose, Ben or Jake? I have a kind of contradictory theory, but I want to hear yours.
I would say definitely Ben has more to lose, because obviously a lot of people hated on his UFC run, because before he joined the UFC, he was this legendary fighter being like, oh, yeah, Ben Askren might be like the most, the best welterweight out there. He was 18 or 17-0 before coming into the UFC and stuff. And obviously it didn't work out for him from the Masvidal KO and then the Damian Maia. Everybody can get submitted by Damian Maia, right? So I thought his run wasn't as bad as people made it seem, and he had the bad hip too. But losing to a YouTuber, and then again, yes, you're not the best boxer out there, so but if Jake Paul does lose, I wouldn't say, the thing is, everybody be like, yeah, he's a YouTuber. What do you think going up against an MMA guy? Like, of course he's gonna lose. So
yeah.
What are you thinking? I'm thinking Jake Paul. Sorry, I'm thinking Ben Askren has more to lose. But who are you picking?
So I have this is what I'm thinking. Okay, if it goes the distance, if it goes the full 8 rounds and Ben loses by points, I don't think he really loses much. It's like it is what it is. Like because like Jake does have slightly better or a lot better boxing technique, right? If you look at regardless of opponents or competition level, Jake does have good boxing. So if it goes the distance, Ben loses by decision. I think it's kind of like, okay, whatever. If Ben gets finished, then it's like it looks really bad. But still, though, I think Jake has more to lose because, like, if you lose this fight, all these other big money fights that he wants, like, may or may not happen. But it's like you lose to Ben. He's not even really a boxer. You're not going to be getting, the same kind of fights you would have gotten if you beat him, right? And like Ben doesn't really care. Like he's made it very clear. He's comfortable with where he's at. He's like he's got the wrestling academy. He doesn't really care what happens. He's doing it. He's getting a good payday out of it, right? So if he loses, people are going to chirp him, whatever. But I think Jake, he's the one that's trying to make a career out of this. Like Ben's not even fighting really anymore, right? He's kind of done. So I think if it's a finish, if Jake finishes Ben, then it's like shit. But if it goes the distance or if Ben wins, man, Jake's I think his stock kind of goes down a bit. So
yeah, because I mean the thing is, even if depending on like you said, depending on how it goes, like if he loses a decision, then I'll actually be interested in seeing Dylan Dennis versus Jake Paul, because let's just say if it's a competitive fight, he could sell it saying like, hey man, you know what, it was my first fight against an MMA fighter, I went 8 rounds, blah blah blah, now I'm 2-1 or whatever his record is, but I still want to fight Dylan Dennis. He can talk some shit, he can throw eggs at Dennis again or something. People will get hyped again as long as he puts up a decent effort and can show that like, hey, actually, you see how good I am, like I actually was able to withstand Ben Askren. Give me Dylan Dennis, right? I would love to see that. If Ben Askren loses by decision, same. I would still like to see him go up against Dylan Dennis. But I just think that Ben Askren's going to be able to piece this dude. No matter how hard Jake Paul thinks he punches, Ben Askren has been punched by people that hit way harder than him. Plus, they have the 8-ounce gloves, right? Exactly. And then maybe they have the 4-ounce gloves. So there's just no way Ben Askren is going to get KO'd by this YouTube kid, right? So, and yeah, he got slammed on his head and viciously got it probably by Robbie Lawler. What do you think Jake Paul's going to do to him? Nothing. Yeah. So, so I think we're both picking Ben Askren. Is that correct?
Yeah. You made another good point too. You talked about how people like with Ben's UFC career, right? Like it kind of ended like whatever. But okay, so he beats Robbie Lawler. And then the 5-second finish by Masvidal, man, like shit like that happens. Like that's like a fluke knockout.
Can happen to anybody.
Exactly. I guarantee you, if they fought again, I would put like $100 down that Ben would win. I think he would take Masvidal to the ground and he would just dummy him on the ground. Like we saw, Usman, right? I mean, not the most entertaining, but he still dominated him there. And then Damian Maia, man, like this guy is like the best jiu-jitsu, like one of the best jiu-jitsu, artists in the world, especially in the UFC, right? And like you get subbed by him, like big deal. But like if Ben would have kept fighting, if his hip would have been in better shape, I think he could have made a decent run in the UFC. Just 2 unfortunate losses. And then people are like harping on him now. It's like you forget that this guy was, hadn't lost in his whole career. He was 1 championship title holder, Bellator, and then he was making it around UFC. So yeah, I think Jake's in over his head. So I don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we wait and see. Definitely. When I posted the Instagram post about which fight are you watching, I knew like everybody was going to say both, but I just felt like being silly just to get some comments to see what people were going to say, right? But I'm definitely going to be watching both. When I don't know if they're going to be running at the same time in terms of the main event in the UFC and Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, but I'll do dual screens and have both of them going, and then it'll be a fun night of fights, that's for sure. And then you said there's Corey Anderson fighting this Friday, so I guess I'll have to check that out. Who's he facing?
Oh god, I can't remember the guy's name offhand. It's good though. This Grand Prix looks really good. Let me look it up quickly. I'll find it for you here.
Yeah.
They got Nemkov. I would love to see this guy fight in the UFC. This guy is savage as fuck, and like he's got that, like Eastern European like badass, like I'm just gonna like slap the crap out of you mentality.
That's the guy that beat up Ryan Bader, right?
Yeah. Or no. Sorry, wait. Because there is. Let me look here. 1 second here.
Yeah, no worries.
Melvin Manhoff is who Corey Anderson's fighting.
Gotcha.
Nemkov. Let's see here. Yeah, Nemkov Davis. Yeah, I think I can't remember if he beat. I'm pretty sure he's the one that took out Bader though. You're right. I think so.
Mm.
Almost, but yeah, he's fighting Phil Davis, and Phil Davis. I'd love to see him in the UFC too, because this guy's been in Bellator for a long time. He's a killer too.
Phil Davis was in the UFC. He was in the UFC much earlier in his career. He fought people like
really?
Alexander Gustafsson and stuff. Yeah, I remember Phil Davis in the UFC. Yeah,
I don't even remember that. Yeah,
yeah,
I've
long
seen his
time ago.
Bellator fights. I've seen like a bunch of his, and like he can take dudes out. So
Yeah, he's got power and he's a wrestler, right?
What's that, sorry?
He's got power and he's a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
It's gonna be good. Yeah, I've actually been really surprised lately. Like you got Bellator, they've been putting on really good fights lately. And one championship. Like the guys that they have in there now. I just last night, Christian Lee. I would love to see this guy in the UFC. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's Singapore, like he's from Singapore and he's American, like Hawaiian. So I guess he has like dual citizenship. This kid's undefeated. He's the one lightweight champion. He's 22 years old, and he just took out Nishchukin, who was the guy that beat Eddie Alvarez in the first round. And Eddie Alvarez in his like second fight in one championship.
Yeah,
and Christian Lee, he knew exactly what was going to happen, and then Nishchukin overthrew. He caught him with a hook and dropped him, and he landed like 14 unanswered punches on the ground. And then the ref was like, finally, like, okay, it's over. But like this Christian Lee kid, man, like you look at him, doesn't look very intimidating, but like he's insane. I think he would be very, very dangerous in the UFC, to be honest.
Damn.
Very interesting.
But yeah, I like your shirt. What UFC shirt is that?
Take a guess.
Conor McGregor?
Yes, sir. The king of Dublin, yeah.
The king of Dublin. Yeah. I hope he pays Dustin Poirier. Like, there's no way in my mind that he's gonna show up to fight Poirier in July and not have paid that debt. Unless he's gonna use that as him being a real dick to say, like, hey, I was gonna pay you, but now I'm not gonna blah blah. Maybe you add that as part of the storyline, but to me, that's a real piece of shit move if he doesn't pay for the half a mil that he said he would.
Did you hear what happened though? Did you hear what? There's more to the story because I was like, I wanted to hear because we were texting the other day, right? And I was like, I wanted to hear more. So just yesterday, Dustin came out and apologized. He was
I saw that.
Yeah. He's like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it this way, right? And I don't know because we don't know the whole story, right? Like, Conor he could have very well donated it. Like, who knows? This could all be. I think a lot of this. I'll be honest. I don't think that Conor did pay it, but Conor says the reason why. He says, like, I have no clue where this money's going. There was never like a full, like, usually when there's a donation, the contract, like, there's like especially with donations that big, there's paperwork that says it's going directly to this account, yada, 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 whatever, right? It's $500,000, right? And I'm going to take Dustin for his word. He's not going to just run off with the money and, use it for himself. But I understand where Conor's coming from, right? Like the whiskey sales, they donated a bunch of money to like first responders and stuff like that. So it's not like he doesn't donate money. So I think he just wanted to see more like specifics.
But apparently Poirier said that he did send that, and then he still didn't get a response.
That's what Poirier said, though, right? We don't know until it's all behind closed doors, right? So they could say whatever. And then so this whole apology comes out yesterday, and I was talking about it with my buddy at the gym, and I was saying, you know what? I think it's all just a marketing scheme because it's like, oh, Conor McGregor, where's my debt, bro? It's like, okay, let's settle this in July. And then it works into that storyline, kind of like with the whole Dolly incident with Habib and everything, right? Look how many times they used it for that promo. I guarantee you they're going to do the same thing with this fight now. It's like, oh, they're going to title it Unsettled Debts or something like that. Let's solve it in the Octagon in July, right? Like, it has to be some kind of marketing thing because, like, why is this being brought up now out of nowhere? Right when the trilogy gets announced, this comes up. Really, it's like it kind of
because it's been a few months since the fight happened, right? And
why
so
did you say it before?
why didn't he mention it like 2 months ago that he still hasn't received the money? Because like 2 months ago was February, right? So Conor, that fight was the end of January. So you're right. It's like, why are you bringing that up now? But yes, it definitely hypes up the fight more, that's for sure. But I don't think Conor McGregor would like agree to Poirier saying, "Oh, make me seem like a cheap piece of shit and not a man of my word."
No.
I don't know why he would agree to like staining his name like that, because a lot of people were turned off by that. So
Yeah.
I don't know why McGregor would agree to something like that, to say like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea," you know. But
I don't think he agreed to it. I think
yeah.
Dustin just did it on his own to hype it up, right? Because like, look at the numbers we did with, you know, McGregor Poirier 2, a trilogy now in a packed arena in Las Vegas, 20,000 fans in July. Let's hype the shit out of this, because this, I think this will probably beat Habib, like Habib and Conor. I think so. I don't know. I just think like the magnitude of it, I think it has the potential to. Yeah, it like at the end of the day, it's a business, right? These guys want to make as much money as possible, because like after this fight happens, whether Conor or Dustin wins, they're probably not going to fight again. It's probably going to be like it's a trilogy, right? So they want to make as much money as possible. Yeah, I think Conor gets it done though. I'll just put that.
You always think Conor gets it done. I don't think you ever bet against him, man. He was doing well in the fight again, but you know, those calf kicks obviously were a problem for him. One thing that did bother me is why he didn't really take advantage of, like, because he caught Poirier's kicks a couple times, and like he kind of just like held his leg up and then like didn't do anything with it, just threw like a head kick after letting go. Because like the old Conor McGregor, I feel like if he had done that, where he has your leg and then like you're standing like off balance, he would have just, you know, straight left hand to your face and you'd have fallen. So that one, I don't know. I feel like maybe it was just like him being rusty of not that he was like, oh, which option do I take, and just didn't take one. So if that happens, I know Conor is going to be trying to catch some kicks, but then again, he has to be careful, because now that he knows that he's going to check those calf kicks, the kicks could come high, right? Conor could get hit by a head kick now because of that. So he has to be very, very careful with what Poirier is going to throw his way. But he even mentioned in the Joe Rogan podcast that Dustin's like, I know like the calf kicks are probably not going to work the same like in the next fight, so I'm going to have to figure out something else on how to attack Conor next. But Conor did fight well. I wouldn't be surprised if Conor does win, but if I'm a betting man, I know actually no, McGregor's probably going to be the underdog. But then again, McGregor's fans always bet on him, so he might actually be the favorite going into the trilogy.
It's really interesting. I'm excited. These next couple of cards, you know, we got 261 coming up. That's going to be insane. That whole main card is stacked, and then going right into the summer, it's going to be really good. I'm really excited. So we'll see what happens.
100%. All right, Gabe, man, it was nice chatting. We'll try and link again for the post fight. So thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it. Lots of fights this weekend. Like we said, there's Bellator Friday, and then there's the UFC, and then there's also the boxing fight. So lots of fights. I'll be sharing as much as I can on Instagram, and I appreciate everybody's engagement. I haven't been able to respond to people on Instagram like I used to. It's been kind of crazy. I'm like, all right, I can't be responding to everybody right now. So I'll just be like liking and stuff, because I'm just like, hey, I'm just focusing on the next post, and then I'll try and respond to some people. So I still love you guys. All right, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
See ya.